If you guys have been following the channel for a year or so, I've been saying over and over again that the pace of this housing market in the US is completely unsustainable. I've been saying this over and over again. And right now, according to the latest report from Redfin, nearly every single metric we're looking at, or every single metric I track, is showing that this housing market is finally slowing down. So in the report that they just published a couple of days ago on Friday the 15th, they've said home prices began to fall from all-time record highs. And by the way, this is not asking prices, these are sold prices. So virtually every metric we're looking at, whether it's an early indicator or a lagging indicator, is pointing to a housing market slowdown right now. So that's the topic of today's video. I'm going to share the latest trends in our housing market so you guys can make a more informed decision about where you should buy or sell a house, or if you're just interested in learning about the latest data, here's the latest we have for you guys. So hope you guys get a lot of value out of today's video. And by the way, today is Sunday. It's 100 degrees outside in Sacramento, and I'm working from a place that has no air conditioning. So I hope you guys appreciate that. With that said, let's go ahead and dive right into the video here. So again, prices, these are sold prices, begin to fall from all-time record highs. I'm going to be sharing the latest trends regarding home prices, pending home sales in general, and of course, housing inventory as well in today's video. So it says here, the median sold price for US houses came down 0.7% from the all-time record high that was set in June. So yes, I know this is a very small number, only going down from 0.7% from the all-time record highs that we saw in June, but it's obviously a step in the right direction. And if you stay tuned here, because virtually every metric is showing that the housing market is slowing down, which is a positive sign because our housing market's been completely insane. It's been a very strong seller's market for many years. It's about time we have some more normalcy in our housing market here. In any case, it says sellers' asking prices also came down 3% from their peak in May as a share of houses with price reductions hit a new all-time record high. I have some data to share regarding this because this is pretty insane. And more on that here in just a little bit. Meanwhile, housing supply posted its first year-over-year increase since August 2019 as pending sales continue to slide. So if you think of a housing inventory as basically a bathtub, new listings is the water going in, and then when a house goes into pending status, in other words, when the home seller accepts an offer, that's water going down the drain. So what we're seeing right now is not so much of a big increase of water going to the tub, new listings. We're seeing a pullback in home buying demand. In other words, not a lot of water coming out of the drain, and therefore supply is lifting up right now. And according to Redfin, these changes we're seeing right now in our housing market is due to buyers reaching their limit. According to Redfin's chief economist, Daryl Fairweather, she had this to say: inflation and higher mortgage rates are taking a bite out of homebuyer budgets. Obviously, we have 40-year highs for inflation, and also we're having a very high mortgage rates as well right now. Few people have the ability to afford houses costing about 50% more than just 2 years ago in the same areas. So homes are beginning to pile up. In other words, housing supply is increasing. As a result, prices are starting to come down from the all-time highs. We expect this environment of reduced competition and declining home prices to continue for at least the next several months. So what we're seeing right now is because of housing affordability issues, because of inflation, rising home prices, and rising mortgage rates, we're seeing a pullback in home buying demand, and that's increasing supply of houses right now. And because of this increase of supply and also a pullback in demand, that's causing home prices to decrease, and they are expected to decrease over the next several months, according to Redfin. I 100% agree with her regarding this because I think because of our seasonality of our housing market, but also because of a decrease in home buying demand, we're going to see home prices decrease for the second half of the year. However, I will say that every housing market's different, right? So the housing markets that have the highest share of price drops right now, in my opinion, are going to be seeing the biggest decreases in home prices. As you guys all know, my crystal ball broke a long time ago, so time will tell. Let's talk about some leading indicators of home buyer activity right now. Let's first talk about mortgage rates. They basically cite Freddie Mac's weekly survey regarding mortgage rates. As you guys all know, if you guys follow the channel, I don't really follow Freddie Mac's weekly survey because it really doesn't account for all the volatility and the ebbs and flows of our housing market regarding mortgage rates. So what I really like to look at is the Mortgage News Daily. And again, at the time of this video, it's Sunday. So I'm looking at Friday's rates. Friday's rates were 5.72%. for the average 30-year fix in the US right now. That's an increase of almost 2.7 percentage points from 1 year. And the significance of this yearly increase is that for every 1% increase in mortgage rates, that causes a 10% decrease in buyers' purchasing power. So when rates increase by 2.7 percentage points in one single year, that causes basically a 20 to 30% decrease in buyers' purchasing power, which of course is why we're seeing a pullback in home buying demand. So we're seeing a big increase in mortgage rates right now. We're also seeing fewer people searching for homes for sale on Google. So if you actually click on this link right here, it takes you to Google Trends right here. So Google Trends, you basically can look at search results for certain search terms on Google Trends to give you an idea about the interest in that search term over time. So what I really don't like about this link that they share with you, or they share with us, is that it looks at worldwide. Redfin obviously only reports on housing market trends in the US. So I really do not understand why they're looking at worldwide interest for houses for sale. So we only want to look at people in the US looking for homes for sale, right? We don't want to look at results for people who live in France, for example, looking for houses for sale, because that doesn't give us an indication regarding our housing market here in the US. So instead, take a look at this, because this is what you need to do. And I wish Redfin would actually fix this, because we only want to talk about the housing market in the US here as right now. We also want changes to the last 12 months as well. So the past 12 months. So take a look at this. This is kind of interesting. This is basically people going onto Google and searching for homes for sale. So, one can make the somewhat reasonable conclusion that if fewer people are searching for homes for sale, that could imply a decrease in home buying demand. It's not perfect science here, but it's just a stat you guys can follow here. So what's interesting is that the interest in the search term really peaked in August, or the first week of August of last year. And coincidentally, that's when the average 30-year fix dropped to about 2.75%, very close to the all-time record lows that was set in January 2021 at approximately 2.65%. So it makes sense that the interest in time over the past 12 months really peaked in early August. And for the week ending July 16th, the reading is 93. So therefore, compared to 1 year ago, back in the first week of August, the interest in time for the search term is down 7 percentage points. And what we're also seeing right now is fewer people submitting requests for home tours right now, because according to Redfin's Home Buyer Demand Index, which of course is a measure of requests for home tours and other home buying services from Redfin agents, that's actually down 18% year over year during the week ending July 10th. And here's a graphic depiction showing that. The line here in red is for 2022, the blue line's 2021, the gray line's 2020. As you can see here, the interest for home buying activities, basically home tours, is basically in line with 2020 right now, but 18% less now compared to 1 year ago. And this index has basically been declining since mid-April, and that's approximately when the average 30-year fixed rate mortgage in the US surpassed 5% for the first time since basically 2018. We're also seeing fewer people going on home tours right now. So according to Showing Time, touring activity as of July 10th was up 1% from the start of this year, compared to a 23% increase at the same time last year. This is for July 10th though, and actually notice that's not the most recent data they have on their website, because their most recent data actually goes to July 15th. So the difference between this year compared to last year is actually worse for the week ending July 15th. So take a look at this. So for the week ending July 15th, so the number of home tours by real estate agents in North America is down 1.2% compared to the first week of January of this year, which is pretty astonishing because we're basically in the middle of the summer. And so we have fewer home tours right now compared to January, which tends to be one of the slowest months of the year. Also, this week last year, we were actually up 24.8% in the number of home showings compared to the first week of 2021. So the difference here is approximately 26% compared to last year. Also, it's worth noting that we've had fewer home tours in North America this year compared to the first week of this year, ever since basically the middle of June. So June 16th, we were actually down 0.3%, and we only had 2 days where we had more home tours compared to the start of this year. And those 2 days were July 11th and also July 12th, where home tours only increased in the range of 1.3 to 1.1%. It's also worth noting that back in 2021, there was barely any single week where they had a decrease in home tours compared to January 1st of that year. The number of real estate showings across North America basically didn't decrease until we hit November 18th of last year. So in any case, it's pretty remarkable we're seeing a decrease in home tours basically ever since middle of June of this year. And yet another sign that home buying demand is decreasing is that mortgage purchase applications were down 18% from 1 year ago during the week ending July 18th, while the seasonally adjusted index was down 4% week over week. And of course, this is according to the Mortgage Bankers Association. Redfin is also reporting all-time record highs for price reductions. So the national average for price reductions right now is just over 7% by week in the US. And every housing market's different though, right? Because as I report to you guys, in Boise, Idaho, the share of price drops in June of this year is at 61.5% in Boise, Idaho. Denver, Colorado, 55.1%, Salt Lake City, Utah, 51.6%, and in Sacramento, California, where I live and work as a real estate agent, it's just under 50%. And here's a really good graphic depiction showing the share of price drops in the US right now at 7.1%. This is in 2022, which has basically been skyrocketing ever since April when mortgage rates hit about 5%. I don't know if there's a coincidence there or not. I would assume there is. But right now it's 7.1%. Compare that to 2020 and 2021, we had approximately 3% of the share of price reductions. So right now we have more than double compared to the past couple of years. So with that said, hope you guys got a lot of value of today's video. If you did, then please hit the like button and really appreciate that. Hope you guys have an awesome day and look forward to seeing you on the next video.